Have you guys heard the anthem?
Not yet.
Not yet.
You know,
Looking forward to it.
Keir Chalmers from Perth, I think. I don't know if you guys know him.
Yeah, I know him.
Ideal curling camp that is free. Ask us questions for all your curling needs. Lillehammer, it's the youth curling camp. Lillehammer, it's the youth curling camp.
Very, very good.
What do you think of that, guys?
Love it.
You're representing Scotland. I like that.
It's a cracker. And actually, just as a little cliffhanger, we've got a big special coming tomorrow. We've got something very special coming up tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Enough said.
Might need to tune in.
Now, guys, before we get into this, just a quickie for everyone out there before we get going. Camp T-shirts, 100% recycled from plastic bottles. Get them at Fox Glide. We put the link up. If you haven't got them already, it's not too late. Go in and buy them. Cracking T-shirts. The Sundbyberg kids all got them today, and they're delighted. So, really cool. Okay, let's get on with it today, guys. Big day. Ross, Whyte, and Robin Brydone. If anyone's been following junior curling the last few years, no one's missed you guys. I would say you guys are the brightest stars coming out of Europe by a long shot. Fantastic results you had at the World Juniors. Fantastic play. And the one thing that's always really impressed me about you guys is you found this the yin and the yang balance, which I've seen in so many top skips and thirds. I could go back. I think Annette Norberg and Eva Lund. I think Glenn Howard, Wayne Madaw. I'm thinking, and nowadays I'm thinking Brendan Botcher and Darren Moulding. And I see a lot of similarities, guys, with the way you approach the game, the way you play the game, and I love watching you guys. It's always entertaining and it's dynamic, and it's a thrill to watch. You've obviously moved on now from juniors going into seniors. Your first full season, I guess, together in seniors, right?
Yeah, it was.
Indeed, yeah.
It was.
And you've had some huge results already, beating Kui and Gushu twice, right?
Yeah, Gushu twice.
So, and I think that's one of the most impressive things. I mean, it's one thing getting a win against one of these teams, and it's another thing doing it twice, because then you know you're starting to get somewhere.
We were as shocked as everyone else, I think. I'm guessing you play these teams, you kind of up your game a wee bit. So it was a very good first season for us.
Excellent. Now that's something huge to build on. So congratulations on a great start. And this is what we're going to talk about today, this transition from juniors to seniors, because it is quite a transition, right, guys?
Yeah, so we're kind of going to go through what our junior career was like and what that actually looked like, and then how we've made that transition into men's. Like, it was obviously different for both of us, which you'll obviously find out when we start talking about it. But so that's what we're going to kind of cover today. Hopefully we can give you some key pointers that you can take away and take on board.
That's excellent. So let's get into it, guys. Take it away.
I'm going to try and share my screen. So I've got a small presentation, just kind of, we won't go with what's on the screen. Let's just give you a few points, initially what we're talking about. See if this works.
I'm glad you're the technical one on here, Robin.
I'm not sure on that either.
Oh, grand.
Can everybody see that?
Not
yet.
No.
Just while we're trying to get this sorted out, I'll today Petter is not here, as you might have seen. He's out. His wife's turning 33 today, so they're having a party for that. So I'll be taking care of the questions here. So I'll be trying to multitask. The devil's work. I'll try and do it.
Is your presentation on the screen when you tried to share it, Robin?
It was not working. Okay, I'm having some technical issues. I did send it to Per if he could put it on the screen.
Yeah, I can just show it.
And can everyone hear, just a quick thing in the chat, can everyone hear the guys okay? Excellent, looks good.
You see the presentation now?
Perfect. Yeah, the presentation's good to us.
Spot on, thank you very much. So yeah, obviously, some of you might not know who we are. So I'm Robin Brydone. Got my skip Ross Whyte here to kind of help me out as well. We're just going to be chatting what our journey through the juniors kind of looked like and what we kind of went through and key things that we've picked up, and then how we transitioned into men's or women's, obviously, not for us, and kind of why we made certain decisions and why we're doing certain things. Just a quick point, that photo on the left-hand side there, that's from a random competition we played. I think I was about 14 at the time. Ross, you must have been 12?
Yeah. As Nathan said, I look the same. Only my age has really changed, to be honest.
I mean, that haircut I had there, I think I had through lockdown as well. So, so yeah, that's kind of a random competition we end up playing together. And then if you said at that point that me and Ross would end up teaming up and having the success we had in juniors and now the first season in men's, we probably wouldn't have believed you. So yeah, we'll get cracking. If we could change the slide, my kind assistant.
Is it on your screen, Robin?
Yeah, we're good there.
You see it? I can't see it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll carry on. So this kind of first slide is just to kind of explain to you what the pathway looks like here in Scotland. The main thing is to see is that it's not always a straight line through there. So you're not going to go from each stage from your local club to the academy into the performance foundation level and then into podium potential and then podium. You know, you can jump around. It's not always going to be as straightforward as it looks on paper. You can see the kind of examples of teams there on the right-hand side that are in each level. You can see that we're currently funded at the Performance Foundation level 1, so just below Patterson and Mowat. Mowat obviously being the top team in Scotland now for funding-wise. So just keep that in mind that as we go through this presentation, it's not just as straightforward as it looks in terms of going through the stages. Next slide, please. Everybody see it?
Yeah.
For some reason I'm a bit slow here, so I'm going to have to talk through this myself.
Just like normal life, isn't it?
I know. So this is kind of, for me, my journey through juniors. So I started at the age of 7, pretty young, not as young as Ross, as you'll find out. And I got started through my parents. It was really a case of they both played, and I was in the ice rink from a really young age. I always wanted to get on the ice and actually start playing. But I started at the age of 7, and I was very fortunate that when I started, being from the ice rink I am from in Perth, there's a lot of big players and mentors there. To name a few would be Warwick Smith, Graham Connell, Pete Loudon, Russell Keeler, who coached the Rona Martin to our gold medal in 2002. So I had the kind of lucky point of being able to meet these guys and chat, and I ended up actually playing in the same club as Graham Connell and Warwick Smith. So getting to play with these guys when you're a young junior and them kind of taking you under your wing was really advantageous for me. I then kind of went through my junior club, playing different competitions, playing under 17s, what have you, even under 12s, and just fun competitions, getting to know different people from all around the rinks as well, was a big thing, and trying to build relationships with new people, which really then helps you later on in your curling career. I then managed to get into the academy at 15, which when I managed to get in, I was told as soon as I was selected that they weren't actually sure whether to bring me in that year or not. They thought I might have been a bit too young and whether they should have waited a bit longer. And when I heard that, I kind of thought, in my head and the way I processed it was, it drove me forward and gave me motivation to work hard and really kind of prove a point and prove that I was worthy of that spot. So, you might hear things that you might think, like somebody else might have heard that and thought, oh, okay, maybe I'm not good enough just yet. But it's the way you kind of process different points like that, which I think is key. Got into the academy and probably overachieved for those 2 years, the first 2 years. First time at a Scottish junior finals, I managed to make the playoffs and was in the semi-final against Kyle Smith, who ended up going on to win it. I think he won the gold that year as well, actually. It was the year before. I can't remember. Anyway. But that was a year we didn't expect. We had a couple of good results in junior under-21s competitions. I was still playing under-17s at the time, obviously, which my under-17s career compared to my under-21s career was woeful. Probably only had a low road qualification every now and again. That was about it. So for me, like, you kind of get that taste of, got into under-21s, had a few successful years. So you think, all right, we'll keep pushing on. It'll always be like this. It'll always be just a case of, a straight line to the top. But it doesn't always work out that way. So that was the first year. The second year, there's a bit more expectation on you. And we managed to make the 1-2 game at the Scottish Juniors finals. Lost the semi-final, unfortunately. I had a shot to win the semi-final, but I missed it. And that still plays on my mind every day. I was skipping, and you never want to miss that shot after your team's worked so hard to win the game. But you learn from it and you move on. Unfortunately, after those 2 years, it was a bit of a downward spiral, almost not spiral, but kind of a wee slump, and kind of that showed me that it's not always that easy, and you have to work harder on the small things as well.
Can I ask you a question there, Robin, just about that? Did you ever get to the point in that phase that you thought, maybe this isn't worth it, maybe I'm not good enough?
Yeah, well, definitely. It's definitely the second. So the first year, we kind of finished middle of the pack. We made a team change. So that 2 years of success I had was the only 2 years in juniors that I had the same team. And then we made a small team change, and then we took a step back, and we kind of thought, oh, maybe we haven't made the right choice here. But you make decisions and you learn from them. And then the year after that, we actually had a 5-man team in juniors. I was playing with Thomas Muirhead, Craig Waddle, Callum Kinnear, and a guy called Callum Greenwood. You obviously know a couple of those names. You'll know Thomas Muirhead. And that was really not a good year for me. When we started the season off, we had our positions kind of set out, and then we made positional changes, and my confidence at that year was probably at an all-time low. I was almost considering whether it was worth carrying on or not. But I luckily, stuck in. We went to the Scottish Junior Finals again, finished probably lower the table now. I think we're 6th or 7th at the end of the week. So with the team that we had, we definitely underachieved. And then, luckily, that was the year Bruce Mowat won it in 2016. So I was luckily then afforded the opportunity and asked if I would go as 5th man to the World Juniors. So after having such what I felt is a bad season in terms of my own personal play and where I was at, to then be asked to go as 5th man kind of showed me that, kind of gave me that kind of drive to keep going, and that I am actually capable of doing better things. And I credit them. I probably always will credit Bruce for this. That I don't think if they took me as 5th man that year, I probably wouldn't be where I am now.
Do you think, Robin, have you had several dips like this through your junior career, or has it just been that one dip, or have you had a few ups and downs?
You always have ups and downs in terms of competitions and stuff like that, but that was like that was a real succession of kind of that season being a bad season for me. But the 2 seasons almost, like, you obviously have little bits of success in the season, but in terms of where your mindset's at, that was where probably my lowest point.
I think that one of the main points you realised from that season was the fact that as many good players you had in that team, even yourself with your kind of low point, that almost not always the best players work together, and that kind of relationship can always mean more than curling ability at times. Is that kind of what you took from it?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a case of when you put a team together, everybody needs to understand their role and position in that team and why they're there. And I wouldn't say necessarily putting the best players together in a team is always going to work. Yes, it has worked for people in the past, but it takes a lot of hard work and an understanding from everybody in that team to make it work. And dynamics is a huge thing. There's a reasons why we've selected certain players going forward. It's mainly on dynamics, and It's experience. That's, you learn from that. And if I was going through juniors again now, and I remember sitting in juniors and having people come and give talks and chat to me, and it went in. Some of it went in, and I took it on board, but most of it probably went in one ear and out the other, and thought that won't be relevant to me. But if I had this opportunity to listen to people again now, I would definitely take more in.
And that's a lot coming from kind of me and you, considering we're literally just out of juniors. It's easy to look at that when you come to like 30 years old, but I think if we'd taken some more information on board a couple of years earlier, we could have progressed a wee bit quicker and better.
I think there's one point in this as well, guys. It's important to think about that. If you had taken on early, okay, you might have had some success, but because you didn't take it on earlier, you've realised it now. And maybe with you guys not winning that World Junior title, which I know was a huge disappointment for you when you got that close, for me, this could be something, and I've said this to you, Ross, before, and Robin, that could be a real catalyst to go on and do well in seniors.
Yeah, so me and Ross, luckily I ended up picking up Ross when I won my first junior title after going as 5th man to the Worlds. The year at that season after the Worlds, my confidence had gone from rock bottom to almost shooting through the roof. I was like, managed to win a medal as 5th man. I was like, we could do anything. And I formed a new team with Cameron Bryce. But that season, I'd never in my junior career thought I'd be anything other than a skip, which was not right to think about in that way. And I stepped down, but changed my position and decided to focus on trying to be a good third. And I realised then that, trying to form the best team doesn't mean you have to stick in the position that you really, really want to play. It's about making the positions work for everybody. And my decision to go to third, I think, is one of the best decisions I've made. And then obviously Ross came with us as 5th man that year. And then after that, we ended up forming another junior team together the following year. And we had a really good round robin and started the playoff at the World Juniors, and then obviously lost the final, which is one of the hardest losses I've ever had to take. So it was my last year in juniors. And we had such a good team as well, and we just couldn't cap it off. But it has definitely driven me on to be like, well, we came that close in juniors. There's still plenty more to do in my curling career. So it's definitely driven me on to go and train harder and work harder to make sure that doesn't happen again.
I've got a wee thing to say about that, but I'll bring it up a little bit later on. I've made a note about it.
Okay. Please don't be too harsh on us.
It's still a wee story. So yeah, it's kind of, for me, the other main thing is knowing that you can do other things as well as trying to focus on goals in curling. Like, you can make your decision to go and study. You can make your decision to work a job as well. It's just about using your time wisely. And I wish I'd learned that in high school, because I won't lie, I came out of high school with one significant grade. And that is a regret I have, is not, at that stage of my life, is not getting some more behind me so that if my curling career doesn't work out, I've got something to fall back on. But saying that, at the same time, I've done stuff coming out of high school and into kind of later teens that has put me in good stead now to do the things that I'm doing in terms of my work career. For those of you who don't know, I'm working currently as the Paralympic pathway coach for British Curling. So I'm working with Sheila Swan in the wheelchair squad there, as well as coaching the Scottish Curling Academy as well. So I've been able to pick up little bits and pieces here and there and make connections as well. Like, the main thing I think about is I've made a lot of connections all over the world that's going to benefit me in later life. Like Sir James here, Byron Scott, who you'll get to meet, and another guy that has helped me out is a guy called Sean Tariff, who's a coach in Canada, and he actually came with us to the World Mixed Championships when we went a couple of years ago. So it's about building relationships and really connecting with people and just sitting down and chatting. Like, take 5 minutes at your time. Don't just kind of think, I'm going to go into the ice rink, play my game, and then leave. Really sit down and kind of chat to people that are around you, and you'll pick up a lot of stuff.
Did you ever play digital Uno?
No.
Okay, some of the kids were playing digital Uno again last night. It's impressive. just talking about making connections, but
definitely, it's a great
joking
thing
aside,
to do.
it's huge. Yeah.
So I'm going to pass on to Ross now. Ross is going to talk about his journey through juniors.
Just before you go on, Ross, I just wanted to say the thing that I was thinking about. And we're going to talk about goal setting later on, but when I was a kid, when I was 12, 13, I had a really clear goal, and that was to win at least 2 World Juniors. I tried for 3, and I made that goal. I was the first European, together with Ron Brewster, to win 2 World Juniors. And then my senior career I coached at a couple of Olympics and whatnot, and that was cool. But my senior career never quite made it as much as it did, because the goal setting wasn't really clear for me. And I kind of lost my drive because I'd made my goal. I thought I'd made it in curling. And I didn't quite have the same drive in senior. So that's why I'm thinking maybe this is going to help you guys, because you still have your drive to win something big. And I hope it does.
For us, like, we're going to touch on this later on, actually, so I'm glad you brought it up. Is realistic goal setting. To be honest, it's quite underrated in terms of, you don't want to set goals that are way ahead of where you're at, or that you think you can achieve, but if they don't happen, you're going to feel pretty disappointed about. So it's about setting realistic goals, and then even if you have achieved them in your junior careers, knowing that there's still a lot to do. Like, your junior career is only short. Like, you've got your whole senior career to go. And it's finding ways to keep you motivated in doing that.
Sure. Good. Sorry, Ross. I didn't want to.
That's no problem at all, James.
You carry on.
Okay, so basically, my run through juniors was maybe more straightforward than Robin's, but Robin at a younger age probably achieved a wee bit more in the kind of older age group. So when Robin talked about under 17s, and I actually had a very good under 17s kind of career. And as much as I done very well at that, I didn't overachieve like Robin did, getting to kind of under 21 Scottish playoffs. So as much as I was doing well at my age, Robin was actually doing slightly better at the older age group. So what I'm trying to say from that is the fact that you can be really good at certain parts, but you just need to keep working hard. There's no complacency that can come from something. I think Robin will have learned a huge amount from that year or two that he didn't feel he'd done as well. And for all Robin could have thought was, well, I've made it into the playoffs, and now I'm going to make it into the playoffs every year. And life doesn't really work like that all the time, unfortunately. And the way he's bounced back and the opportunity that he got was huge. So my way through juniors was, I got a great opportunity at Youth Olympics, halfway kind of through my career as juniors, which was a fantastic opportunity, and I'm pretty sure a few of you have already done that, which you'll have learnt so much from. And then I actually played against Robin in a Scottish junior final, which was always going to be pretty close, and they edged us that week. And the opportunity that I got from the Worlds, again, as Robin said with him, I took the opportunity with all I could and took everything I could. I was with some great coaches on the bench that I could to get some knowledge from. I listened to everything I could. I came away that week thinking that I came away a better curler, and I'd barely played on the ice. So what everyone needs to understand is you can go on the ice and become better, but some knowledge is almost better than curling ability at times. Like, that can give you that edge on the better curlers. And then as soon as you bring your skill level up, you've got that knowledge and skill level.
I think for me, Ross, that week, so when we're talking about building relationships and connections, is that me and Ross, before that week, probably didn't really know each other at all. We played against each other all the time, but we didn't really know what each other's personality was like away from the ice, away from the competition. You know, when you're chilling in the hotel room or, you know, just hanging out. And I think we kind of built a friendship that week that has obviously lasted until now, and probably it's going to last for a good amount of time. And I think that's a key point in there, is just that relationship and making connections and getting to know people that way.
Yeah, no, definitely. I don't like how you say good amount of time. I thought forever, but we'll see how we go.
We'll see how it goes.
Okay, boys, no breakups here. No breakups.
So yeah, I then went on the next year to win Scottish Juniors with Robin, and then we had our Worlds. I had two couple of good weeks. Unfortunately, didn't get the job done, but we obviously came back and learned a huge amount. Knew we had to work harder, and then I had my last year, which might be interesting to some people, that I didn't actually play my last year in juniors, and it can be quite controversial, this, because when we had decided to, myself and Duncan, who is one of the boys in our team now as well, there was a lot of people making comments that we should be playing it, and you only have one junior career, which I completely get that side of the story, and I'm sure most of you in this will be thinking, I want to do as much of my junior career as possible, which is definitely the right thing to do, because anyone that doesn't get a chance at a junior career and get a chance at going to World Juniors and things like that are not getting the full experience.
Sorry, hold on, just
juniors.
1 second there, Ross. Erin, I think your microphone's on, so if you could turn that off. I think Erin's keen to get on there. There we go. Sorry,
she's ready for the question.
Yeah, she.
So basically, I took the year out of juniors to come form a team with Robin, and Ewan, our lead, was also aging out of juniors. And as Anna in the chat there said, Tyler Tardy, as you all know, he also done the same thing. He didn't play his last year in juniors. He'd obviously got the 2 golds, which is kind of what everyone strives for. So we were both in very different situations. Obviously, myself and Duncan really wanted that gold medal. But what I seen the opportunity was to get into men's and allow us to go and start our career in this adult circuit that is where we wanted to achieve all our main achievements. We'd obviously played in junior men's competitions throughout our career as a junior, but it wasn't quite the same than trying to grab our points to get up the rankings. So that was one of the main reasons, is that the quicker we got into men's, the more we kind of got to play against these top teams and try and push ourselves on. So yeah, it was fantastic this year that we managed to do that. But everyone is going to go for a different junior career. There's not going to be the same. Please don't think, if you're struggling right now with it, maybe if some of you are struggling with the team you've got, that it's not going to stay like that forever. Don't lose motivation, work harder. That's what Robin did. As I say, I had a wee bit more of a straight line, but Robin peaked and then had a wee bit of a rough time, then peaked again. So that wouldn't have came from without working hard, and it's very easy to get complacent once you get to the top.
Just on your point there, Ross, about you saying you're missing your last year, I think when you're fortunate enough, like you have been, to go to 3 World Juniors, and that is a big experience. You know, you had one in South Korea, you had one at home, and then you had one in Canada. So they're pretty big competitions to go to, and as much as you didn't win the gold, you do pick up a lot of experience from those. Did you feel that you maybe had experienced all you could without winning the gold?
I think if I went back, I wouldn't have learned anything apart from I just really wanted to win the gold. But the 2 years before that was where I really learned it, I think. I felt that was the right time to move on to men's. I felt I was ready for it. So everyone out there, it might not be the same as myself or Robin. You might feel, I think I still got a wee bit more to learn in juniors. I want to push for that kind of worlds. I'm not sure that, like in Canada, when your province might be your goal. And that's where you need to really think yourself, what is the main objective for you at that point? I wouldn't say, not everyone has been to a junior world that is good at curling in the men's circuit now. I can think of a few names. I think Greg Drummond, who won the silver at the Olympics for Great Britain. He never actually won a Scottish juniors to go to a world juniors, and now he's an Olympic silver medalist.
Ewan McDonald would be another one.
Ewan McDonald as well, and he's a fantastic career. So
yeah, sorry about that, Ewan. That was.
You're glad he's not on this. But no, honestly, juniors is fantastic. Learn as much as you can. Keep working hard. But juniors will not define your career. If you want to make it as a main curler in the world, people will start to look at your adults career. Well, that's what I keep telling myself anyway.
That's super. Oh, guys, a couple of things. I think we try and wrap this up in about 10 minutes here, so we can get to about 20 minutes for question and answers.
Sure.
And for everyone that's listening just now, I'm going to put the you type your questions in there. Sorry about this one, Robin. Ross, I couldn't resist sitting there thinking questions for Batman and Robin. That's what I'm calling you from now, you guys. I didn't like to call you before, Ross, because I didn't know you, but now I feel comfortable enough. A couple of things just while the questions are starting to drop in here. A couple of things that I'd like you to address. First thing, Ross, one of the things that struck me the first time I ever saw you play, and listening to the way your phenomenal ability to manage your team. I won't go into details, but I think the way you manage your team is very impressive. Is this something that's natural to you, or is it something you've worked on with coaches or studied or thought about?
It's not an easy thing.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate with most of my teams. Like, they're all extremely hard workers, and it makes it a lot easier. Like Robin, I personally see everyone as the same in a team. Like, I don't think a skip is above anyone. I don't think a third's above the second. It's definitely no one can have that mindset. And one of the years I done the same as Robin. Like, some people see the skip as the kind of manager, like not coach, but the man that's meant to take charge. But sometimes there's better people in the teams that are better at taking charge. Fortunately for me, I've just kind of learned over the years, and I'm quite a understanding person as it comes. So luckily, you do learn those skills, and when I've been working with Robin specifically, he's also skipped, so we both like to be kind of treated the same way, and that's the main thing. Like, if you were a second or a lead, you want to be treated in the right way. So just
treat people how you want to be treated.
Yeah, that's the main quote of it, is honestly just make sure that everyone is being treated the same, and you wouldn't want to be treated rubbish either. So that's the way I always have looked at it.
Excellent, Ross. Guys, is it okay if we bring the PowerPoint down now so we can see your faces?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, sure.
Super. And the other question, Robin, that I'd just like you to address quickly before the questions start dropping in here, which I hope they're going to be dropping in any minute now. The transition between juniors and seniors now. What's been the biggest change over? What's been the biggest challenge, or for both of you, and whoever wants to answer it?
I suppose I'll answer it. Kind of the biggest thing is really knowing that you are making that step up, so it's not going to be easy. Nobody expects it to be easy. If it was easy, everybody could do it. Everybody would be out there playing, the best curling they ever could. And for me, it's learning each time we step on the ice. No matter who we're playing, we're going to learn something new. We had the fortunate opportunity to play against Cooey, Jacobs, Epping, Gushu, Dunstan, all these guys this season had some successes. But we managed to pick up a lot from them. But we didn't just learn from them. We learned from playing, I wouldn't say lesser teams, but other teams that maybe haven't achieved as much as them. We see different things maybe they do tactically or different things they do sweeping wise, and we think, oh, I wonder why they're doing that. We always question if they're going to do something, why are they doing that? And that way you pick up and you learn from it, and the next time you go and play them, if they do it again, you start to build up a kind of knowledge of each person, and also take it on board yourself. It might be something that you might want to incorporate into your game.
Yeah, I would say that no one does anything without having a reason to it in the men's game. So if you see something peculiar, kind of have a think, why are they doing that? What is that going to benefit them? And have an actual, if you've seen it throughout your game, talk about it in the end game chat type thing. And then you'll be able to kind of muster up some more ideas.
I think another thing for us was, obviously we played against these big teams, but we weren't scared to play against them. We're almost excited. Like we kind of finally felt like we'd got a chance to kind of test ourselves really and see where we were at. And so it's more exciting rather than, fearful of, oh, we might get hammered off the ice here, which could easily have happened. Luckily it didn't, but it could easily have happened.
Yeah, no, definitely. And realistically, I think everyone in this chat will probably heard it, but when you get on that ice against these men's and women's teams, it's still stones against stones. You're not, as much as they might make a few more shots, if you play your best game and they have a slightly off game, you've still got very much a chance. So please don't ever feel like you're going on to a game and you've lost it already.
That's some good advice there, guys. That's great. And, obviously, as I say, we could talk with you guys about hours and hours and hours about this because there's so many things, but I want to get some of the questions coming in here. So if we can get Grunde from Norway on the screen. Now, Grunde, before you ask your question, just like to say congratulations on winning the Youth Olympic Game gold this season. I thought it was impressive you winning Nordic Junior Tour, and then you go on to this. This is unbelievable. So
yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
Well done. The Nordic was probably the hardest part, but yeah.
Thanks.
I was wondering how you decided which tournaments to play when transitioning into the men's game.
I'll let Ross take this one.
Okay, so basically we looked for a schedule and we checked out on the World Curling Tour, and obviously at the start we didn't really have many ranking points, so you can't just hop into your kind of top tournament. So we took an idea and we had a look at some of the European competitions and Canadian competitions because we're lucky enough to have that support from the British curling, and there was some competitions this year that gave a great understanding and allowed us to see where we were against some of the top teams, but we didn't do this every week. We could have tried to, but we still wanted to bring our ability up to where we thought it was at the start of the season. So we went out we played a few events in Scotland, like Dumfries, and we played in Prague. You can't just expect to just jump straight in at the deep end and play against the top teams. It was very hard to actually decide. It was budget based as well. But what we did was we just took an open understanding. We really looked into the right tournaments for us and our level. Unfortunately, I think we got it pretty right this year. So take every opportunity you can to get out to Canada, because obviously you have your best teams there. If you ever get out to Canada, you'll understand that it's not an easy competition. No matter who you're playing against, they will play well. Even in Europe as well, you'll come up against some fantastic teams that you've never even heard of. It's never easy. So some of the less prize money competitions are still very good, and they'll be a great stepping stone for you.
I think it's finding that happy balance between playing the big competitions and playing competitions that are not deemed to be as big and just picking up experience. Again, it's just about building experience, and there's a lot to be said for going out and just trying to win games.
We were quite close after the last year to getting to slams, but we decided, even if the season was going ahead as normal, that not necessarily we'd want to play in all the slams, and that's the only competition we played in, because everyone knows how hard they are. So that might not have been a good idea for us if the slams were going ahead, because we could have easily gone out and had a terrible season, not got through to any quarterfinals. And it's no points. It's a demoralizing season. So we were still sticking some competitions that we thought these will be good tests for us, but we believe we can do a wee bit better in.
So you guys tried to find a good balance in your schedule, basically.
Yeah, very much so.
Super. Excellent. Great question, Grunda. Thanks for that. Now we've got Heidi from America. Heidi, are you, let's see if we can get you on the screen. She's on there.
Okay.
Heidi, if I'm not mistaken, it's your birth. Was it not your birthday this week?
My birthday is August 7th.
August. Oh, it's in 2 days. God, I spoiled the surprise. But obviously not a surprise for you. You know it's your birthday.
Well, happy birthday when it comes around.
Yes, happy birthday.
Excellent, Heidi. Okay, what's your question?
So what was the biggest change moving into adult level? Were people strict, nice? What was different?
You got this one, Ron?
I'll take this one, I suppose. Good question. Everybody is just as friendly. Everybody chats away, you know. Obviously, the names become bigger. You know more about some of the top players, but it's just, yeah, everybody still chats away. Everybody's still pretty friendly. What else to add to that? Don't know. Do you think, Ross?
Can I ask you a question just to jump onto that one, Heidi, because I think it's an interesting point. When I was playing, certainly the jump from juniors to seniors, there's a lot more sort of psychological warfare going on the ice. Have you encountered that, guys?
Yeah, you could say that. There's maybe a wee bit of even a little bit. I had a little bit in juniors. It might just be a Scottish thing here. Definitely, once you've thrown a stone, you might just get, you got your sweepers of the other team kind of standing behind you. They might make a comment loud enough that you could hear it or stuff like that. But it's, you keep playing your game and ignore that, because you can only do what you can do and they can only do what they can do. I wouldn't take any notice of that. They're just trying to get in your head that way. But there is a little bit that goes on. I won't lie. There's a bit of gamesmanship.
As much as off-putting that can become, again, you're still in your own bubble. You're still with your 3 other teammates, and you're sticking to the team. So don't let that bother you. When we say it maybe happened, it definitely did happen at times against some teams, but that's them getting worried. So when they have to kind of make this gamesmanship type suggestion that they're doing this, then you think that you've got them a wee bit nervous, is how I would look at it. So always take these wee niggles from them as a positive, that they're panicking that you guys might actually beat them.
Is that okay? Is that a good answer for your question there, Heidi?
Yeah, it was great.
Excellent. Well, thank you for your question, and we'll get back to you on your birthday. Katie from Scotland. Remember to keep the don't make sure the dialects don't get kicked in here and no one understands you guys. Katie,
what's one piece of advice that you wish you knew when you were a junior curler in like the under-21s age category?
Oh, that's a tough question.
Just one. One each.
Sweeping. Being told to work on sweeping when I was younger. I would love to be able to sweep on both sides with each hand down on the brush. Just to make myself more kind of appealing to, if I was to get in a new team and have to sweep on the other side, I would still be a really great sweeper, as well as being kind of looked at in that way. It just opens up doors for you, as well as being efficient and a good sweeper. So.
Okay.
So did you train having your hand both up and down, like a left and a right?
Yeah, so I've always been left hand down, and then when I first moved to third, I tried and when I was on my double gripper side to go right hand down, so I'm closed on the stone on both sides. It's like writing with your other hand, and it is very tough to do when you've been curling for a decent amount of time. So if I'd been told when I was just coming out of junior, like in my junior club and stuff like that, I would really take that on board, that if you can do that, it's very useful to have.
Okay.
Have you tried it, Katie? With both hands?
Yeah, this season we started to learn to sweep both sides closed, and my goal for the next season is to be able to do both sides comfortably.
Good for you.
I'll make that my goal as well.
When I do the wrong side, it's like wisping up an egg. It's hopeless.
You get a bit of a chicken wing going.
I've seen myself fall a few times too.
Ross, what was your...
I would say in juniors, don't be stubborn, is what I would say to myself. So when I was going through my under-17s career, me and Robin didn't really know each other very well, as you mentioned before. That was more because we were both skips, and we thought, oh, this is a rivalry. Just try and be friends with everyone, and try and understand that you might not be a skip for the rest of your life. And there's no point being in a rivalry with someone, because if you're going to be a career until you're 40 years old, it's a long time to not like someone for no reason. So try and get on with everyone.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Katie. Quick question before we get the next one on from Colin, who doesn't have Colin in the States doesn't have a camera or a microphone. A quick answer to this one: when you moved to senior curling, did you understand your tolerances for different shots? Was there a difference there? I think we talked about this actually, Ross, a little bit.
Yeah, no, there's definitely. You obviously want to make absolutely every shot, but we have a system in kind of stats is like you have a 0 for missing a shot, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 is obviously your best. And the tolerance becomes that you can only start to make you don't want to be making zeros. So making these easier shots is a lot better than trying the harder shots and missing them. So your tolerance becomes slightly less. And you just, as soon as you make a 0, it makes it slightly harder at the end. Doesn't mean you're out of it, but just really work on the easy skills. We call them tech ones. So it's just those nose hits, draw to the rings. That's what's going to really help you.
So tech one, just to be clear, that's the basic shots. Your basic guard, your basic draw, your basic hit.
Exactly. Yeah, draw to the button.
So like one of the things that I remember thinking about through juniors and the later junior part of my career is if you make your tech ones really well, you're going to win the games majority of the time in juniors, because you are going to get mistakes in juniors. It's going to happen. People are going to throw zeros. But it happens to everyone. So if you can start just focusing on making your tech ones really well, and not really looking at these fancy shots that you've obviously seen Ross play plenty of times.
And miss.
He's missed as many as he's made. But it's about just making the simple shots at that point. And then when you go into the men's side of things, it's more a case of if you are going to miss, it's not throwing those zeros, it's getting a half shot out of something that becomes your tolerance. So it just becomes that gap becomes smaller.
Just a quick example, what would be a tech 2 and how far does that go? Does it go to tech 5, 4?
So it tech 3. Tech 3. So a tech 3 would be like your kind of a double run back.
Your circus shots.
Yeah, your circus shots.
All these shots you're seeing on this greatest curling shots right now.
Yeah,
okay.
They're the tech 3 circus shots.
And tech 2?
Tech 2 would be like a hit and roll. So a hit and roll behind cover or trying to throw a freeze. And then your tech 1s is just a draw around a guard or throwing a guard or a draw to the rings.
Or a nose hit.
Or a nose hit.
Yep. Cool, that's great.
I think that's another key point as well, talking about shots there, is hit and stick. If you can hit and stick quite consistently and not roll out, you're going to put a lot of pressure on your opposition.
Just a quick one, just on the end of that before we let in Anna from Canada here. If you guys miss a shot in an end, do you bail out quite quickly? I guess obviously now playing the elite level, you bail out earlier. But do you think about that? If you miss early in the end, you bail out straight away, or do you keep going?
It depends on your game plan on that end if you're losing or winning, but usually they'll apply pressure straight onto you. So be sure to be maybe a touch quicker.
Okay, excellent, super. Okay, Anna from Canada. Rolls off the tongue nicely.
Yes. Hi guys.
Hello.
So my question is, well, also like big fan from Canada, just so you know. My question is, looking back at yourself in juniors and the beginning of, I know it's still the beginning, but of your men's career, would you change anything? Or like Robin, you've talked about your highs and lows. Would you change your mindset when you were in your lows, or would you stay the same? Or yeah, that's my question.
Thanks, Anna.
It's a good question, actually. I don't think, obviously I've got to where I am just now from dealing with those things, so I don't know if I would necessarily change anything, because I'm in a pretty good spot right now, but who knows, if I change something else I might be better than what I am right now. But I think dealing with the low and that kind of confidence, like dent in my confidence, I think did drive me on to become better and a harder worker on my game. I don't think if I didn't have that, I maybe wouldn't be as successful. I maybe would have been one of these players that had a really good junior career and done nothing after it because the work commitment wasn't there. Because there is a big commitment in work when you come out of juniors to go into men's and women's. It is, there's no getting around it. It is a big step up, and you do need to work hard at it. So to answer your question, I don't know if I would change anything. I don't think I would. I'm here because I'm here for a reason.
The only thing I would change is I would have tried to get out of personally, when I was younger, I was a wee bit immature in the way I acted. Like, I could get angry quite quickly, but I'm feeling like I'm getting better at that. And as much as it's easy to get angry after a missed shot or a bad end, you'll hear it all the time, but it is honestly, you'll do much better if you don't do that, and you keep your kind of emotions the same. Even this year, I didn't do fantastic at times at doing that, but it's just about working on that. So if I was to change anything, I'd have changed my mindset at times.
I think, thinking about that as well, I maybe would have taken on board the fact of changing positions a wee bit earlier when I was younger as well. Being a bit more open-minded in that way, that you're not always going to play the same position for the rest of your career. So be open-minded at what position you play.
All right.
Excellent question.
No problem.
And I think I'm really curious about seeing Ross angry, because I've never seen you angry. So I think that would be. Well, it just doesn't compute for me.
I hide it well at times.
Was it Penticton, Ross, where I had to go to you?
Yeah.
We both had an argument on this.
I had to be told at that point.
Mark was talking about this on Monday, actually, how the emotions are there, but it's all about controlling them. So yeah. Now let me see. Cara, have we got Cara with about 15 H's at the end of her name on the chat group? I think Cara's is from Scotland as well. Let's see if we can get Cara on.
Hi.
Hiya.
Have you got your video on there? Have you got your video on there, Cara?
Okay. What age would you recommend going for the academy, and what's the biggest thing you took from it?
Cara, can you put your camera down just a fraction, because we can see the top? You've got lovely hair, but we can't see your face. There we go. There's Cara.
So Robin and I were different. I would say just try and continue to put in your applications for it. Try and get in as early as you can, is what I would say. I don't know if Robin was the same. Robin was in very early. So you do learn a bit from the academy, and it's a great start to get you into the process. So I would say try and get in as quick as you can.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, it's not a case of when you think you're ready to get into it. I would say just apply to it. You apply, you never know. You might get in, might get a chance. But even just going through that process as well as a learning process, putting an application together will help you later in your career for other things as well, not just curling. So you can apply to it and just keep applying. It also shows the coaches and the selectors that you are interested. This is what you want to do. So by applying, they will take notice, and they'll keep watching.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Excellent. Guys, we're going to have to, again, same thing there. We're going to have to round this off now to make sure we've got time.
Okay.
Jacob, I was trying to get Jacob ready, but I'm going to have to pause him there because Per-Erik gave me the wiggly finger again and said, don't go over time, and that's quite right. Now, we have I know you guys are sponsored by Balance Plus, but don't tell him. I won't tell if you don't, but we have today's, I think it's upside down, is it? There we go.
No, you're good.
Oh, was it good? Was it good? Okay, there we go. So
I was upside down.
Oh, yeah,
whatever.
my bad.
Anyway,
It's a brush.
Yeah, it's a brush anyway, with a hard line and NGCT. And guys, today was a tough day, I'll tell you. That was really tough figuring that one out. I mean, a lot of amazing pictures, eh?
Aye, very good.
There was a lot of good pictures there. It wasn't an easy discussion to have.
Could have given about 4 brushes out.
Yeah, and being in your happy place is very personal as well. So there's a lot of pictures with people with animals and people in the mountains outdoors and but you guys picked out something that was a bit maybe different. I don't know. What was your motivation? If you give the motivation, and then at the end of that, Per-Erik, if you pop the picture up, and I'll say who won.
For me, the kind of motivation behind it was just a really kind of wholesome picture. Like, obviously really content with what they were doing. They put a lot of work and effort into it as well, and they were confident enough as well. Just a really nice picture of where your happy place is.
Yeah, they were. As Roland says, they were content. They were in their room. They were very happy. So it was nice to see.
And here's the picture of Mr. Christopher. I'm sorry if I say this wrong, Christopher. I'm going to try my best. Vidarazaga. I hope that's okay.
Congratulations.
Well done.
It's a cracking picture, and I love a bit of Star Wars, boys, I have to say.
I'll join in that one, James.
You can't whack a bit of Star Wars. It's an impressive collection as well.
It is very impressive.
So,
Wish I had something like that.
Christopher, next time we're in the States, me, Robin, and Ross are coming over to play with the Lego. But I like that picture. That shows, just being, and I like the fact that it's toys as well. Be a kid as well, Don't grow up too quick.
I'd agree with that. You need to be able to enjoy yourself, have a bit of fun.
Yeah, a lot of nice comments coming in there. A lot of time to build all of that as well, and that's nice. It's nice to hear. Guys, we need to move on now to the next session with Byron in 15 minutes, and I'll let you guys go. Again, boys, huge thank you for being part of this. It's been a real pleasure and incredibly insightful for your young ages, I have to say. So in terms of, on behalf of everyone here, a huge thank you for being part of this.
Oh, good. It's been a pleasure. No problem.
Thanks, everyone, for listening.
Good luck to everyone in their season. Hopefully everybody gets started, I know everything's going on. So just, have a good season. Enjoy it. Have some fun.
Yeah, very much so. And I'm sure you'll be very pleased to hear that Byron's next, because he will be very insightful for you all. It'll be great.
We had the opportunity to live with Byron for a week, so he's a good guy. You'll enjoy him.
Excellent. That's super, guys. Okay, and well, thank you. Have a good rest of your summer. And do those. I was trying to do those jump things you were doing, Ross, with jumping from your knees up into your feet. I gave it because I could do it before, but I realize now at 45 I can't. But I'm working on it. So my goal, I'll get it on you. I'll send it to you when I get it done. I've got my
Sounds good. Won't take you
long. Guys.
Great.
Take care.
Right. See you later.
Cheers. Thanks, everyone.
Now, before we move on to Byron, just a couple of things. All this information that we're going to do about tomorrow's stuff, we'll go through that at the end of Byron's, because otherwise you'll probably forget it. So the physical stuff for tomorrow, the video presentation stuff, and tomorrow's picture competition, we are going to do that at the end of Byron's session. So hope that's okay for everyone. Double session, 15 minutes now. Make yourself a cup of tea, go to the toilet, get yourself a sandwich, and get back here in 15 minutes. We're going to leave the session running here, but I'm going to turn the sound off and the video will stay on, and I'm off for a pee. See you in a bit.